The rubbing.
The rubbing.
The rubbing.
Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones, Indiana. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where Tom and Jerry compare Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with the rubbing they made of Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm the late Admiral, Pete Mummert.
I'm the soon-to-be late ensign, Tom Taylor.
I'm Gerald Christopher, non-tenured Porter.
And today is a very special day for me. It's not often that an admiral gets to meet his maker, but now that I've been force choked, today is that day for me, and I'm excited to welcome legendary illustrator Chris Eliopoulos to the show. Welcome back, Chris.
Thanks for having me back. I'm excited. This is like, I'm 3 for 3 with you guys now.
That's right.
Yeah.
We must like you.
That's right. Yep.
And you must like us.
That's a
I don't
hat
know.
trick.
You just convinced me or something. I must have drank something. And,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, this is the last movie, so...
Yeah, we had to have you back for the finale.
Right, because there's no movies after this.
We ride off into the sunset after this one.
That's exactly right.
Now everyone's scared and sad.
Oh.
Yeah.
They said they were going to do Crystal Skull.
Ugh.
yeah, which is sadder?
I don't know, really doing it or not
Doing it or ignoring it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, we're here today to talk about minute 36. Minute 36 begins with Indy doing one of those find the differences puzzle and not finding any differences. And it ends with Indy yelling about Elsa about air pockets.
The shield is the second marker. That's
That was pretty good.
Thank you. That was me impersonating you, Tommy, impersonating Indy. Hey, I forgot everything we discussed last week.
So did Indiana Jones.
Yeah, can someone walk me through this again? So there's a second marker.
Yeah.
And there's a shield, and
Yeah.
but it's a facsimile of the stone.
You see, Jerry, when a man and a woman love each other very much, the man creates a stone tablet and then busts it. But it's okay because the woman has a shield made out of metal, and then her cousin has one made out of brick or something, and then it's a whole thing.
Yeah. You're into some stuff there, Tom.
I mean, we like I shut the on the door. I shut the door on the way out of this podcast, and like I forget everything. I come back in on Monday morning, and it's just I don't remember what's happening. How?
But see, this is perfect for you, Jerry. This is absolutely perfect because the second marker is exactly the same as the first marker and tells you everything you need to know that's happened in the movie so far.
You haven't missed a
So
thing.
you're good. You haven't missed anything at all.
Yeah.
Why is there a second marker that's identical to the first marker?
Should we put Chris on the spot and see if he can explain this at all?
Yeah,
Yes.
you do stuff with comic books. You have to make sense.
You got to draw stuff and
And
things.
arcs and pays attention to plots and stories. What's happening?
All right, you want to hear my take? And it makes no sense. But, okay, so
Sure.
there were two knights that left from, right? Is that the story? There were 3 knights, 3 brothers. 2 leave. One's left behind. They both kind of go back. One dies along the way, and I think that's where the tablet is done. And the second brother actually makes it back and then dies in Italy. So they weren't sure whose marker would be found. So they both had markers, and they were kind of buried with them. So the first one that's cracked and was probably buried in the desert somewhere with the first knight, and the second one's on the shield of the second knight. So that's my take, is why there were 2. Just in case one got lost.
Say you're a comic book artist.
Just say it.
And Stan Lee is walking through the desert, and he engraves a comic on stone. Now, if you want to have an identical piece of artwork, say 50 years later,
Plagiarism.
how would you do that?
It's a reprint. You do it once and you get paid for it twice.
There you go. Beautiful. Okay, now what if Stan Lee coming out of the thing and traveling with the stone, what if he specifically didn't want anyone to find out how he had come up with Spider-Man, but he wrote that whole story on a stone and on a shield, and so now everyone can find the secret to Spider-Man.
Excelsior, true believers! And then he runs away.
Excelsior.
That's all he gets. That's it. He runs out the door. He doesn't want anybody to know anything.
Well, your explanation of why there are 2 markers actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
More
that
so
does.
than anything else we've come up with. I still don't understand why there are any markers, I guess.
But now what you're saying raises a huge question for me, Tom.
Okay.
Who started this secret society coming up, the Brotherhood of the Cruciform Sword? Did the brothers start that? Or did they happen to come across these markers later and just make up their own secret society?
Oh.
Well, I thought everybody was going home to France. The knights were going home to France. That's what they say. And so the one dies in Anatolia, in the mountainous region, right? Or above, in north of Ankara. And the other one gets to France and then goes to Venice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's buried there. They don't necessarily say he just kind of goes there, but I would think, right? If they were going back, they would go back to Italy, which is right. Isn't that the foundation for Christianity? Is in Rome, so
yeah, but not for the Crusades. I mean, the Crusades, most of those hoes came from France or Germany, or didn't they? Right, Pete? Back up my hose.
Well, in the first Crusade, they were almost all French. Yeah, they were mostly from
so
France
that part
and
makes
England
sense that he's coming from France.
What about Kevin Costner as Robin Hood? He went there to the Crusade.
Yeah. And Sean Connery showed up.
There's the connection.
Well, and the Pope was also he preached the first Crusade in France too, in Clermont, France.
Huh.
Did they just choose Venice because it's a city that you think of, sort of, when you think of the Crusades, kinda?
Maybe.
And it's a cool city to film in.
It is. It is. But why doesn't this take place in, Constantinople?
Istanbul.
Sure.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Constantinople, Istanbul, and Constantinople.
That every time. Doesn't matter the guest.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's appropriate.
All right. See, I knew there were bits I wasn't going to get, and then think I was a genius, and then I'm an idiot.
You're doing great.
See, I think maybe they came up with the boat chase first, and then they're like, well, we got to have a city where you can have a boat chase.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've got Venice or Amsterdam. You don't have a lot of choices if you're going to do it like that.
So the whole point was, though, just in case one of the knights perished and we didn't have a marker, it was a fail-safe thing. Have two markers just in case.
But for what purpose? Why are they leaving markers? Why are they leaving markers to something that's
especially
supposed
if
to
they
be
leave
hidden?
people behind to help not find it. Like it's
right.
Why would you have
Yeah.
markers when you have people?
Which leads me to believe that maybe they didn't found this society that's stopping people. Because then why would they have made the marker and then said, oh, and Frank and John, you have to make sure nobody finds these.
Yeah.
Frank and John, that's their names?
Yeah.
The one knight's carrying it around on a Rosetta Stone type thing, and the other guy's carrying it around on his shield.
Yeah.
Which is, as we talked about, imagine, here's your shield. You're like, so you're facing your enemy, and he's reading the entire secret as he's, you're vis-a-vis with him, and he's going, oh, so, okay, so I
Hang
got
a left
Valley
at
of a
the
crescent moon. Yeah.
Well, it distracts him and then you cut his head off.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
So busy
fair
reading
enough.
it, you just chop his head off and you're done.
Wait, hold still. Ah!
Alexandra.
Gets him every time. If you can read this, you're too close to my shield. That's what it all translates to.
Tommy, I know this is for you, and I know you heard this.
Okay.
Indy sounds really, really strange when he says it's a rubbing. He goes, it's a rubbing. And it's really, really weird. He says it like he has allergies. It's like, he goes, it's a rubbing. And his nose is all stuffed up. It sounds nothing. Wait, it's a rubbing. It's really strange. I don't know if it's a voiceover or he left that part out, but it doesn't sound anything
Print
like
it. Perfect, Harrison. We love it.
Moving on.
Yep.
That's hysterical.
Well, what did you determine that
Defibrillator.
when he lisped, did we come up with a reason that whenever he lisps, it's a tell for this?
Oh,
Is
we
this
had
some
lots
kind
of
a-
reasons. I don't know what we landed on though.
He's lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's when he lisps, he's lying.
Well, really, when he opens his mouth, he's lying. But
Yeah, when he doesn't lisp, he's lying.
Thank you for bringing that up because the whole rubbing thing actually confuses me even more. Because first of all, it's a nice dry piece of paper. He's been wading through this, gasoline sodden water for half an hour, and it's got dry chalk and dry paper and whatever. But the fact that he has a rubbing and that he immediately goes to work on it on the shield means that he's expecting it to be the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
That like whatever second marker they find is going to complete whatever was on the broken part of the tablet. Which strikes me as like, we're aghast that they're the identical thing, that it's not like one marker leads to another that's a different thing or something. But he seems to totally expect that. But there's never, like in the movie, there's no suggestion that that's the case until like right now when he does the rubbing thing.
Yeah, how did he know?
I don't know. It's weird.
Plus, that means he did the rubbing. Well, he says, I got it from my father. My father did it. So he must have seen it in New York or wherever the original tablet was.
Well, he takes it out of the, I only noticed it this time, is that he takes it out of out of the diary.
Wait a minute.
But he says, I got it from my father. My father did it. So his father had to have done it when he was at, when he first saw the tablet.
In the tomb?
No.
No, at Donovan's house.
With the tablet.
Yeah, with Donovan.
At General Veer's house.
Wait a minute. So,
Oh, yeah. You're confusing Jerry. I don't like
Jerry
it.
hasn't seen the end of the movie yet, too, so careful with spoilers.
But he has seen the beginning.
and I'm really bad at movies, but where does his dad...
Perfect podcast for you.
Where and when does his dad make the rubbing?
No, I have this figured out, actually. I have this figured out. I think that, at least in a way that makes sense. Because I guess it sounds like Donovan's people, those copper mining people, found this thing.
Right.
And they called in an expert, Henry Jones. He goes over there, and he probably did this rubbing as part of that, stuck it in his diary. Then things started going south, like, oh my God, these guys are Nazis. I shouldn't be hanging out with them and keeping this information close to them. So then he mailed the whole thing to Indy. So that kind of makes sense to me.
Sure.
I guess.
So he did. So he was in New York City.
Well, I thought he did it in New York, but Tom thought he did it in Turkey.
You think he did it in Turkey?
Oh, you think he did it in New York?
Well, I figured he did it in New York. I figured Donovan just called him up in New York and was like, hey, check out this tablet I've got.
That's possible, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way, like, I don't think they like kidnapped him and took him to Europe. I think they sent him over there as like their expert.
Well, I think he would have gone willingly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they said he was their man or whatever, however they described it.
Yeah, I guess that's why I picture him doing it over there, and then the tablet got brought back and put on a nice pedestal.
So the rubbing is like the rubbing is like
The rubbing.
is like it's like maybe 2 weeks old.
Maybe. We just talk like this for the rest of the... Jared, I knew a kid who talked like this, and he kept offering people Atomic Red Hots, and they were warm from his pocket.
Clears my nose out so I can breathe.
Rubbing.
Rubbing.
So speaking of rubbings and
Oh, dear.
Indy's father,
G-rated podcast, please.
Oh yeah.
I'm beginning to think that Elsa has a very specific preference, because this is the second time she's referred to Indy's father as a schoolboy.
Interesting.
A giddy schoolboy.
A giddy schoolboy. Yeah.
And he's like, that's gross. You're a teacher. Stop it.
Yeah. Can we get a yuck bell?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Every time she keeps comparing Indy to her dad, now it's over with. It's just,
we get it. You
just
like my dad.
Gross.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you're sizing us up.
Well, I think she makes her choice clear here too, because then she says, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if he were here
Instead of you.
Yeah.
And then Indy's got that really awkward line. It seems awkward in hindsight. He talks about, oh, Dad never would have made it. He wouldn't have made it past the rats. He hates rats. And that's like, sounds like a total kind of clunky setup for a later scene that absolutely doesn't happen.
So there was in one of the earlier drafts, there was a scene when Indy was a kid, and his dad makes him go down into the basement to kill some rats because he's so terrified of them.
But see, even that, like, why? Even that sounds like it's supposed to pay off later when we re-meet Henry Jones and he's going to be faced with rats or something.
Well, he does explain it to his father later. He kind of just says there were rats down. He's like, oh.
See, that's what I like. I wish that they could have not had this line here, because the ultimate payoff and the only good thing that comes out of the whole rat thing is his reaction in that scene where he's like, oh, rats? And just that look on his face. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Although it is, again, Indy trying to one-up his dad. Like, oh, he wouldn't have made it this far.
Yeah. That giddy schoolboy of yours doesn't even like rats. He can't handle them. I had you over my shoulder. It was awesome.
This whole thing is, first of all, Elsa's super awkward turtle. It's just like we don't know where Indy's dad is. I mean, he could be dead. And she's all like, I mean, you know, and she's all like, wouldn't it be wonderful if he was here? And it's
Isn't
like,
your dad
why
neat?
Yeah, why? Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about your possibly dead dad?
Dreamy.
Exactly. And you're just like, why would you bring that up now?
Yeah.
I mean, just even if you thought it, you wouldn't say it because maybe the dad's dead. You know what I mean? And so that's the first thing. And so I'm thinking maybe she's just vindictive. You know, because clearly no one cares that his dad is missing. And then the crazy thing is Indy matches Elsa's vindictiveness by saying, like, basically, I know my dad might be dead. At least he's missing. But he would have failed at this Holy Grail thing.
Yeah.
You know, but he
Unlike
never
me.
would have gotten past the rats.
Well, I think she's doing this on purpose. I think she's trying to test Indy to see what he knows. Like, I think she's intentionally jabbing at him a little bit. Because she doesn't know, they don't know what Indy knows about his dad.
But you know, it's interesting. She also asks about the rubbing, and he says, I got it from my father. So she must have known that was in the Grail diary. If she was, like, sorry for spoilers later, but if she was looking for it, wouldn't that key off that, oh my God, he's got the diary?
Right.
So now it can either play two ways. Either one, she's too stupid to get that point, or later on when they get back home, she tears through the place because she realizes at that moment that he does have the Grail diary.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
no,
this
that does
is
make
and this
sense.
is a nice invitation right here when she brings up his dad for him to be like, oh yeah, I got his book, or hey, like I think she's intentionally testing the waters here and seeing what he knows and what he'll
that's
divulge.
a good point. Well, but now I want to know, Indy's dad has been chasing the Grail for 40 years.
Yeah.
Would he have, you know, ultimately been stymied by his musophobia? You guys see what I did there?
So
I just
technical, so
kinda
impressive.
Snuck in musophobia.
Well done.
Like, no, would
Golf
he?
clap.
Yeah, I just. I mean, but really, would he have just been? He's been doing this and obsessively drawing he has a Grail diary. Who the has a Grail diary? and now it's just would the rats have really stopped him after like 40 years?
It'd be a Twilight Zone episode, like Time Enough at Last with Burgess Meredith.
Exactly.
Finally gonna lay hands on the sword of the... oh, jeez.
Our former guest and buddy Andrew Hawthorne had a Grail diary, so he's steaming right now. Like you're prime jackal. And B,
So we have an answer.
You should have heard what we bleeped. Oh, my God.
we know that Indy's dad has known about this number 10 for a long, long time, since Indy was a kid. So for like 20-something years, he's known about it, and he's never got past it. Maybe he just assumed there were rats.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm not
To
going
be
down
fair,
there.
it's awfully confusing.
Well, maybe he's been there. Maybe he's been there the whole time and he got to the rats. He's like, nope, I got to go home. Nope, not
I'm
for
not a
me.
field man.
Yeah.
He keeps trying. And he gets a couple steps farther each time.
He loses his fieldworm card.
I'm going to go look for the arc now. Forget it.
Yeah.
I'll show
I'll
you.
find something else to look for.
And this is what's crazy. I mean, is Indy so animated here because he found the knight's grave or because he's bested his dad?
That's a good question, because he's weirdly
Yeah.
excited. We almost never see him this excited.
That was another note. Is this the most, I mean, he's
Yeah.
bordering on titillated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's straddling
Tickled.
titillated. He's going to
He's
kill
straddling,
that guy
tickleated,
again.
and he's jumping over to
Yeah.
tickled.
He's so excited he can't even say rubbing right.
He can't.
Sounds like Luca Brasi.
Again, just like Indy always does, he always destroys the places that he's going to discover instead of,
Yep.
like, if he
Yeah.
was so excited about it, why would he just giddily destroy everything there before on his way out? You know,
That's his
Like,
calling card.
I know.
It is.
Maybe he's learned by now that things are going to get destroyed anyway because people are after him and they're going to destroy stuff. So he's like, well, I'll grab a femur if I need to. I'll straddle an ancient knight if I have to,
Well, it's also his way of making sure his dad will never see it.
Yeah. Oh, you should have seen it, Dad. It was intact and
It
everything.
was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, but knowing Indy's probably like, no, you had it all wrong. That whole Grail diary, it looked nothing like that. There wasn't even a knight down there. There was no scroll work. There was, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Because his dad later in the movie is going to ask, is going to be very, very curious and kind of wonder what that looked like. And Indy's just going to be like,
Yeah.
Right.
The knight had a gap between his teeth like David Letterman. Like that's all he's got.
That's all he's got. Well, and he spits. Indy spits out. He's scared to death of him.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like,
baby.
Considering his own ophidiophobia,
Right.
he's not very compassionate here. It's just. I don't even think he's that happy to find the knight's grave. I mean, I think it's cool. But he's just thrilled that, like, his father could not complete this.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have failed at the 1 yard line.
But that's what fathers and sons do, right? It's always the son has to come up and fight the father, beat the father at some point,
Right.
and take over and be the big shot. I mean, I think it's pretty much a classic story, and probably that's what the whole movie's about anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's about, coming to terms with your father.
Is this the day Indy becomes a man?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, wow.
And when I burned down the tomb, it occurred to me he grown up just like me.
Sing it.
Try and work musophobia into that song.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck.
Musophonia is a hassle and the kids with the flu.
How about and the rats in the... Come on, somebody pick it up.
Rats in the caverns and the...
Yeah.
Can I ask something? The Brotherhood of the Goofy Fez hats, why didn't they just destroy it to avoid anybody finding it to begin with?
Oh,
I don't
we
know.
know that too.
we're stuck on that.
But I'm sort
We're
of thinking,
stuck there.
did I say this last time or am I just thinking it for the first time right now? I can't remember either. I closed the door too. I kind of think that maybe it's possible they didn't know any of this stuff. That they're following a guy who they know is on the trail of the Grail. And so they're discovering this now, like 5 seconds after Indiana Jones does. Or something like, oh, geez, he found something significant that's going to lead him right to the Grail. We got to get rid of it.
But how'd they know? They didn't see anything. It was a bunch of like caverns and catacombs.
Yeah.
They couldn't see it directly. They didn't know what was there.
Right.
Like, there's a couple of issues I have with these 3 minutes that I've got to work with. Number one, like how they knew to follow him there, like how they knew he was even there. But then the fact that they knew there was petroleum there and would light it on fire. And let me say something. For some religious men, they sure don't have a problem killing a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Rats, people.
Yeah.
They'll put anybody down to save the Grail. Not very Christian like.
Yeah. No oleophobia there either.
Peter, well done.
Have these guys been down there, or are they just kind of like what is it? The Knights of the Cruciform? Are they just punching in? Have they just been like, nope, that's a sacred place. I know where the opening is, but I've never been all the way through the crypt.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think not only have they been down here, well, I'm excited that you're on for this minute, Chris, because this seems like a very comic book scene right here, where Kazim takes the match, and he's very theatrical the way he lights it.
Yeah.
It looks like a comic book the way he drops it in the water or into the kind of the oily water. But
Yeah.
right before he does it, he smiles at somebody, but that somebody is inside the cavern. That somebody can't be one of his companions because they're both behind him. And so I'm curious, who's here?
I think he's just sort of having like one of those bad guy moments where he kind of looks at the good guy and kind of goes, I got you now.
Ain't I a stinker?
Yeah.
Is this move by Kasim? What is it, Kasim?
Kazim. Yeah.
Kazim. Is this move break glass in case of emergency?
Yeah, kind of. That's what it seems like to me.
Like,
right?
is
Like,
that
we
the
gotta do
whole thing?
something.
It's like once the crypt has been breached, this is what you do.
Well,
Yeah.
he's been. I think someone's been waiting for this for several generations because he's so excited to be doing it, and he does it with
My
such a
turn.
flourish.
Dad's
Yeah,
going to be so proud.
So many generations didn't get to do anything.
yeah.
Is he thinking his dad would have been, plagued by musophobia?
Right.
I was able to take care of this.
He's scared to death of burning water. Punk.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say everybody thinks I'm just a terrible person on this
Oh,
show.
stop
And
it,
in real
Jerry.
life, too.
No, they
and
do.
I don't like
They
the
do.
movies and all
You're
this
a
stuff.
prince.
And, this catacomb conflagration is one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie.
look at that.
Yeah, I first of all, I wasn't expecting it. And I love how the fire just rifles through, down the tunnel, and it's consuming skulls everywhere and everything. And there's something like, It's like when you see rats panicking, you know something horrifying and biblical is about to happen.
The ship is sinking.
Yes.
Did you notice the? I had never noticed this before we started doing this, but you can tell when the live rats, there's no fire in the scene, and then when there's a scene with fire and rats, they're all mechanical and they're all sort of swimming slowly.
Yeah, or just kind of like bobbing there. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a bunch of just like stuffed rats standing still on the sides of the ledges.
Right.
And I love this kind of practical effects because you don't see this anymore. It's amazing. And the way they cut it together, I've watched this, I don't know how many dozens of times, and I've never noticed that before.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
I'm still, I mean, maybe I'm being dumb and I need to go back to, sixth grade.
No, you're dumb.
Science class. I know. Well, thank you for that. I said I was dumb. I said it first.
I'm just agreeing with you.
All right, fine. We agree. But the water's on fire. Okay, so there's like the water is okay. Is this an oil and water thing? Like, is the petroleum only on the surface of the water, and that's why they are not immediately just consumed by flame because they can duck under the surface?
Yeah, it would still be incredibly hot though. I bet that water would be boiling.
Yeah, and not only that, but like even like they've just hanging out down here for whatever 20 minutes or something, or even like 5 minutes, whatever it's been. Like, don't you think they'd be like passing out and like just fainting from just the fumes and the stink and everything?
Well, yeah, and isn't one of those, doesn't fire have some sort of relationship with oxygen? I mean,
there's something in there about that.
Yeah, there's something. Speaking of sixth grade, so like all the oxygen would be sucked out or consumed immediately, in like one of those where even though there's a pocket of it, it's not they're not hermetically sealed or something. Like it's one of those, like fire consumes a large amount of oxygen when it's encircled them. There's no place to go. I was thinking it just kind of rips it out of the air. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm going to go down and say this is one of my favorite minutes in the movie. I love the whole Wow. But what I did notice is when Indy upends the coffin, we get a great full shot of the night.
Yeah.
And you guys kept talking about this, and I was like, you guys, what are you doing? What are you talking about? I had no idea the shield was so huge.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It's huge. It's like a blanket.
It's covering him from like the feet to his like almost his shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 75% blank.
Yeah. In fact, it looks completely blank
like
in this
one
shot.
half side. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know Pete is all like, no, they painted coat of arms on the other side and that sort of thing, and I get that. It's like it's in quadrants or whatever.
Right, and the lower quadrant has writing on it too.
Does it?
It looks like it.
Okay.
It does look totally smooth when he flips it over, though.
When he flips it over, that's how it looks to me.
Well, if you pause it at the right moment, it's got more etching, it looks like, on that lower left quadrant. So it looks like someone wrote something on the upper right and lower left, but the lower left has gotten kind of worn away.
Huh.
Does it just say gotcha? I think, like, I figured, I'm contending that the shield is incomplete. Like, the knight had a whole thing of instructions that he just never got around to engraving.
But he started on the right side?
He started...
Yeah.
Well, it says take 2 Kadams back.
Right, yeah. On the other side, On the other side, it says, by the way, you're engulfed in flames because you found this.
Yeah.
I don't know why Elsa doesn't use her snow powers to put out the fire.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
When Indy flips over the coffin, does he know I'm creating an air pocket? Because at first he's like to Elsa, get back against the wall.
Yeah. It would be nice if he was just like, to hell with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm only just knocking this down just because I'm angry that I'm about to be killed by fire.
Take this, Dad. You're never going to see it either.
Yeah. You're never going to. I mean, does he know that's what he's doing? Because he does it before the fire comes, I mean, he knows that the fire's coming, I guess.
Yeah, I think they both do, because it's just the sound of it and the light coming, and they're surrounded by gasoline.
Probably heat, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say, though, that if he had bothered to get like an excavation permit from the government, none of this would have happened.
That's right.
Why do things the right way?
Yeah.
Plus, not to mention the fact, doesn't he have like jet lag? I mean, he just flew over. He's already in a catacomb.
Yeah, they slept on the plane.
I traveled 4 hours today. I'm like, I've been dead for 6 hours. I don't know how he's able to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not a young man anymore either.
Yeah.
He comes alive when he sees Elsa.
Yeah.
He kind of, perks up.
Yeah. He gets his second
is that what
wind,
it
if
is?
you will.
Yeah, he sees he sees Elsa, and that's
He's going to get his schoolboy costume too.
yeah, exactly.
He seems giddy.
He's got a giant lollipop.
He is giddy.
He's got a little like a powder blue suit with short pants and a bow tie.
Yeah.
Ruffled collar.
Math book with like a bookmark in it.
I'm as giddy as a schoolboy, see?
I bet the book has one of those straps you carry it with too.
Yep.
Yeah.
The leather belt or whatever.
Speaking of giddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? This just
Oh,
in
hey.
from Professor Christy Porter.
Whoa.
Oh, my Lord.
Is Elsa truly charmed by Indy's giddiness? And does Elsa know where Indy's dad is? Or is this whole thing an act?
Oh, I think she knows where Indy's dad is.
Oh, she totally knows
Okay.
where he is, yeah.
Well, if she knows where his dad is, then is she actually charmed by his giddiness?
I think she is charmed that she knows something that he doesn't know, and she's just having fun the entire time.
Yeah.
That she knows that she's playing him, and he has no idea, and she's like, "Oh, you're having so much fun with this thing. We're gonna kill you and your dad later on. It's gonna be awesome."
She pulls off a pretty good act there.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
She had you fooled.
She's almost wistful about it.
I still find it amazing that Allison Doody was only 21 when they cast
Yeah.
her.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like what is she, like 17 years younger than Harrison Ford at this point? And
Never stopped him before.
No, he's like late 40s at this point. So
is
she's
he
like,
really? I thought he was
Wow.
30s.
No, I think the character's 30s, but I think he's
Yeah.
like well into his 40s at this point.
Well, he was 65 in Star Wars. So
He's always lied about his age.
yeah.
But that was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting over here, time dilation.
I actually think the acting is great in this scene. I do.
Yeah?
I think Harrison Ford, he's all animated and he's like glistening with sweat, and she pulls off a good, you're as giddy as the other dude I slept with.
right.
Yeah.
She pulls that off really well. Both of them. It's really, really well acted.
I guess I just wish I bought his giddiness more. Like it seems out of place. It seems weird. Like as we're talking about it, that why is he like he hasn't totally been into this whole quest the whole time, and he even says later, "I don't give no hoots about this Grail business. I just want to find my dad."
Yeah.
So it's like, what exactly about finding this is he excited about to be that giddy?
I think he's just glad he bested his dad and he did what he knows his father could not do.
Okay, if you read it that way, then yeah, that reads
Because I mean,
true.
like I said, he spits out venom afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, against his dad. It's a little weird.
I think we have to let Jerry have this one too, because this is the first time Jerry's really expressed a lot of positivity about this movie.
That's true.
so-
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I think we need to let him have this.
Yeah.
Let it
Everybody
go.
Be quiet. Yeah. Just let him sit in his beanbag.
Yeah. He looks very
Beanbag
comfy.
chair.
Someone get him a juice box.
He might doze off, and then we can go do stuff.
Well, speaking of doing stuff, Chris, you've
Yes.
been doing some very cool stuff. Obviously, your greatest work, and maybe one of the greatest works in Western literature, is your work in Darth Vader #1. But you've had some great stuff lately. Your Cosmic Commandos, and you've got a couple of Ordinary People Change the World that have been out. So I was wondering
Oh
if you
my
could tell
God,
people
way too many.
what all you've got going on and where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, you can find me on Twitter, Chris Eliopoulos. Good luck spelling it. But yeah, we do a number of children's biographies. They're called Ordinary People Change the World. And we just came out with I Am Harriet Tubman. And then coming in September, we have I Am Neil Armstrong, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
cool.
That's awesome.
I've got a sequel to my first graphic novel, Cosmic Commandos. This one's going to be called Monster and Mayhem, which will be out in September as well. So I got a lot of stuff hanging out there. So
Awesome.
please go out and buy it all. I have kids in college.
Are you doing more Star Wars stuff coming up too?
We've been talking about it. My schedule has been so crazy lately, so I'm hoping I'll have to get Jerry in at some point. I have to get Tom in. So.
Yeah, for crying out loud. Don't give up yet.
Maybe I can convince them to let me do like an Indiana Jones comic. Who knows?
Yes.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
To do it. Do it right this time.
Yeah.
Start to write and petition everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. I'll do it.
Duplicate markers this time.
Yeah. Heather Antos almost started a firestorm the first time she came on for Raiders because she tweeted something about watching Raiders, and everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh my God, you're doing an Indiana Jones comic."
Like, no, I'm just doing a dumb podcast.
Do not think I have not asked already.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's in the air. I'm sure
I hope
it's...
so.
I don't know. It seems like they're very quiet with the indie stuff, but they're doing all the Star Wars.
If they ever manage to make a movie, maybe they'll do it.
Yeah. And I feel like Disney at some point is going to say, you know what, we need to really bring this series back to life. This is going to be a cash cow, and maybe that'll open the floodgates.
That'll be the name of the next movie. Indiana Jones and the Cash Cow.
I think they're all named that, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
The last one was named that.
Yeah. Well, and they'll bring in some sort of thing. We think we found the golden calf.
Yeah.
It wasn't really melted down.
Yeah, and if you want to see some of the other stuff Indy's been chasing after, come check out our website, IndianaJonesMinute.com, and you can find our painstaking proof of the Indiana Jones movies being Han Solo's fever dream, and you can peruse our Indiana Jones Minute trading cards. So please come check that out, and then please come check us out again tomorrow for minute 37 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Friends? We're all friends.
We are friends.
This is
Yes, we are, Jerry.
This is a fun minute.
I'm glad you're excited about it.